please.
Mayor Knopf,
Here?
Mr. Donahue,
Here.
Mr. Hammond.
Here.
Ms. McCready is absent. Mr. McQueen is absent. Ms. Roday,
Here.
Ms. Zamara.
Here.
Notice of this meeting was provided to the Bernardsville News, Courier News, and the Star Ledger, filed with the municipal clerk and posted on the municipal bulletin board on December 24th, 2020. So let me just go back here and share my screen. By the way, happy Flag Day. So I got my flag shirt on. And we will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
The flag.
United States of
United
America,
States of America.
and to the
And to the
republic
republic
which stands,
which stands
one nation,
nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible, liberty, and justice for all.
All right. Okay. We have no presentations. So now we have an open session. If anyone in the public would like to address the council, please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Anthony will hold up a timer. Please give your name and address. So would anyone, oh, I see Johanna has her hand up already. All right, you're on.
Good evening. I'd appreciate this opportunity to make a statement regarding the pending ordinance 1881. I've already commented on the problems caused by stormwater runoff with subsequent New Jersey and JEP requirement for municipalities to update their stormwater ordinance this past March 2021, and also how stormwater runoff specifically negatively affects our residential properties, our streams, and our roads. The consequences of not containing stormwater are likely to continue and most likely even increase because of our continual increase of impervious surfaces and the net loss of trees. Mitigating this problem requires serious thought, focus for achieving necessary changes. I'd like to implore the members of this council and future councils to consider the following 2 suggestions. But before I do that, I would want sincerely to thank the members of this council for their support in addressing stormwater issues. In particular, I would like to thank you, Mayor Knopf, for your work with the Rutgers Green Infrastructure Program and support for the 4 rain gardens we've installed, and your work with the NJDEP to address the wet issue on the far side of the pond. I'd like to thank Councilman Hammond for your wonderful participation and guidance, your grants, etc., serving as liaison to the EC. And Councilman Samara for heading up the Raritan Headwater Association stream cleanup. And Michelle Carnivore has some interesting facts about this event that she will give at another time. My first request, please oversee that all members of the municipal boards and all personnel involved with stormwater decisions become certified and knowledgeable with NJDEP stormwater regulations and familiar with green infrastructure best management practices in particular. I realize the council does not want to overburden civic-minded volunteers, and this is understandable. However, the inclusion of green infrastructure practices is a very significant part of the March 2nd ordinance, and it's a very important part for a solution and has not received adequate attention, in my opinion. Second, please continually be alert and open-minded to ideas that will improve and make our stormwater ordinance more effective. Changing paradigms is difficult and will most likely have to be done in increments. Seek solutions for the major minor problem and accountability and enforcement for maintenance. Some of the green infrastructure practices will need maintenances in order to function properly. Your EC will continue to learn how best to contain stormwater and provide information and outreach to help the residents comply. While it's important for the EC to remain independent and do our own research, we would appreciate any opinion or enlightenment from the council members and our experts, Mr. Brightly, Szabo, Chernecke, Pridgeon, Price, McDonald, and Wagner, so we can achieve what we hope is our common goal. Thank you.
Thanks, Johanna. I'm not sure, what is the status of this ordinance right now? Because we just did the act, what the DEP required, and now it's back in review, yes?
Mayor, we taking the lead from council at the last discussion, we've been working on a modification that would create a cycle while eliminating summonses, creating more of a fee, and hopefully getting it into greater compliance. But we've drafted that and we forwarded it to the Public Works DPW committee.
Okay, so it's still being worked on and rewritten.
Yes, ma'am.
So we can, yeah, all right, thank you. We'll keep working on it. Thank you. Would anyone else from the public like to be heard? Not seeing any hands go up on the participant list. All right, then I will close the public session. Items of business, we have I'll open the public hearing on ordinance 2021-1883, salary ordinance for patrolmen and detectives of the Bernardsville Police Department. Would anyone from the public like to be heard on that ordinance? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. John, you there?
Yep.
Would you like to move that?
Yeah, I move to pass ordinance 2021-1883 on a final reading and adopt as published.
Second.
Okay, thanks.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Donahue,
Yes.
Mr. Hammond,
Yes.
Ms. McCready,
Yes.
Mr. O'Day,
Yes.
Ms. Zamara.
Yes.
Okay, I will open the public hearing on ordinance 2021-1884, salary ordinance for sergeants and lieutenants of the Bernardsville Police Department. Would anyone from the public like to be heard on this ordinance? I am seeing no hands, so I will close the public hearing. Councilman Donahue, would you like to do this one?
Sure. I move to pass ordinance 2021-1884 on final reading and adopt as published.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Zamara,
Yes.
Mr. O'Day,
Yes.
Ms. McCready,
Yes.
Mr. Hammond,
Yes.
Mr. Donahue.
Yes.
I just had a quick question. Is the JS annotation on the document, is that Mr. Szabo or somebody else?
Yes, we worked with Mr. Szabo on that ordinance.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought, but I just wanted to confirm. Thank you.
Okay, we are now, oh, too bad Chad's not here. This was kind of his thing. So would someone like to introduce ordinance 2021-1885 on outside dining?
I could do it.
Okay,
I move that ordinance 2021-1885 concerning outside dining and off-street parking requirements and supplementing and amending various sections of the Borough Code be introduced by title, passed on first reading, published according to law, and that a public hearing be scheduled for a meeting beginning at 7 p.m. Monday, June 28th, 2021.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, moving on. Who would like to introduce this one? The dog.
I can do it it went through Board of Health, so
Good.
I don't mind.
Okay.
Okay, I move that ordinance 2021-1886, an ordinance concerning dogs and amending Chapter 5 of the Borough Code entitled Animal Control be introduced by title, passed on first reading, published according to law, and that a public hearing be scheduled for a meeting beginning at 7 p.m. Monday, June 28th.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Well, before we vote, there's a typo in there, I think. In one part of the document, it states the date of 1963, and elsewhere it says 1993. So I think we need to just make sure we correct that.
I'll check that. I think they're two different sections. I think the original ordinance is 63 and there was one amendment in 93, but I'll double check that.
Okay. And I just had a question. It just applies to dogs. Why not cats? Do we have any obligation in terms of boarding those animals?
We don't by law, and this only applies to dogs under the statute. I'll double check on the cats. It's a good question.
I don't think we picked them up, but
I don't think we do either.
Okay.
I think just because there's too many feral ones out there that,
Yes, we've had that issue over the years, but
Yeah.
but this section, I believe, just covers dogs and it's meant
All
to.
right. Thank you.
okay. Did we vote on that? Did I do it all in favor?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. All in
Yeah.
favor?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mayor. Just in response to Jeff's question. Yeah, those are two different dates, and they're intentionally two different dates.
Okay. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Moving on to resolutions, we have 21-123 through 21-138. Just one comment on 137 for LGBTQ Pride Month on June 24th at 7 o'clock. The Somerset County will be having an LGBTQ plus history through storytelling, an evening of living history from those who live it every day. So if anyone is interested in that program, I believe it's on the Somerset County website. It will be a web program. Anybody have questions on any of the resolutions? And I would say, Tom, do you have an idea of on reopening? I know we're giving you authority to do that, but just curious if you have a thought on it.
Mayor, I'm guided by, I'm trying to balance out where we are in terms of the overall health status and the demand that I'm sensing for people having to come to the municipal building. Up until this week, despite all the encouraging signs, I remain fixated on the fact that at the height of the summer last year, COVID hospitalizations were actually less than they are now. So I sort of like set that out as my own little indicator. And frankly, I also wanted to see what the consequences of the Memorial Day holiday were going to be, which was really the first sort of time when people were getting together again. And historically, over the past year, that's when we've seen within 2 weeks is when we've seen the largest spikes. So if things hold and continue to go the way they're going, I would anticipate within the next, but before mid-July.
Okay. That'd be great. Yeah, we were just talking about council meetings to maybe not come back till September.
And that would be a concern because we could manage lines in a municipal building, and we've contemplating the old direct office serving as a waiting area if queues happen to form with people spaced. The problem with the council room is I think we would have to really restrict the number of people in there if we're
Right.
in some distancing, and it isn't, the building isn't, doesn't have the most modern ventilation systems in place, so that
Yeah.
would be a concern as well.
You
So
know,
in the interest of participation, I think more people can participate online at the moment.
yeah, and actually, I think we've been getting better participation online, but yeah, it'd be nice to come back, but September, I think, will be soon enough. So anybody else on any of the resolutions?
I just wanted to comment. Spoke earlier to Administrator Chernetsky, and I'm encouraged to see that we're going after several grants on today's resolutions to help offset some of the costs of our public works plans. And so I'm just encouraged by the fact that we're continuing to do that. We've done that in the past consistently, and this is obviously a continuation of that approach. So I think that makes sense.
Yeah,
Thank you, Councilman. And I just want to give credit to Doug Walker for leading that charge.
mhm. Yeah, I want to thank you for the organization chart. That is really helpful. I think it really made things clear I mean, I'd love to see that. I hope it's on the website so that people contacting the borough know who they should call and reach out to. I learned a lot by looking at it, so I think it's really helpful.
I think the Organizational Development and Personnel Committee is tired of looking at it, but I thank them for the guidance.
Yeah.
You know, I just wanted to also compliment our business administrator, Mr. Chernetsky, because while he just gave a shout out to our committee, he did all the work. So I think for that and the core value statement that we're also going to vote upon, I mean, he gets a lot of kudos for the organizational vigor that he's brought to the borough. I'd also just like to make a quick comment to people that we don't have a chance to read the entire LGBT resolution. It's the same one as the Borough Council passed last year. I hope people would take the time to go to our website and read it.
Yeah, I was going to make a comment on the core values too. It's a great statement, and I think it's a good foundation for the culture that that our business administrator is looking to build in the borough. It's great.
Yep.
Thank you all for that.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Great. So would someone like to move resolutions 21-123 to 138?
I move
I'll
to
move. Oh,
Yep, Tom got it first. Go ahead.
adopt resolutions 21-123 to 21-138.
I'll
Second.
second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Donahue,
Yes.
Mr. Hammond,
Yes.
Ms. McCready,
Yes.
Mr. O'Neill,
Yes.
Ms. Zamara.
Yes.
Okay, mayor's update. We've continued to have the technical assistance meetings on our energy. I want to just give a big thank you, shout out to Kathy Redling, who has done, and Leslie Robeson, who have done an incredible job of collecting all the data and using the new input system. And I know we had a direct install survey done at the library. I think they're still looking at that as to whether or not we're going to pursue that, but there were some savings to be found. And thank you, Jeff, for reaching out to them for that grant. I attended a park bench chat webinar, which talked about the Park Score Index that was done by the Trust for Public Land. They released the 2021 Park Score rankings. And really we're stressing that parks are not just a nicety, but are actually part of essential public health infrastructure, and turned out to be a lifeline during the pandemic. Their standard is that ideally every resident should have a 10-minute walk to a park. The index takes into account the municipality's acreage, the amenities, the access, the investment, and this year they added equity also to the index. Bernardsville's rated 37%, which is not great, but that's how many people have access within 10 minutes to a park. But I think our unique landscaping, the way we're laid out, it would be difficult to put a park. And the main group of people who don't have access are the mountain residents. They said 5% of our property is used for recreation or parks. The national median is 15%, but I noticed on looking at our report that we have not yet included 271 Minebrook, so that'll bring that number up. But it's really interesting. If you go to the Trust for Public Lands website, I think it's just tpl.org/park score. You can look up scores and you can see all the information on Bernardsville. May 30th, I did my third wedding, officiated at my third wedding, which was really nice. Memorial Day, I can't say any more about it. It was just a fabulous day. I think everything went really well. Thank you, Bob Markowick, for working out all the details with the veterans, and Doug for all the work he did getting the walls ready for the murals. The police department was fabulous at keeping people safe. The fire department with their trucks in the escort. It was a fabulous day, and thank you to all who made it happen. June 3rd, I attended a green infrastructure webinar. I think Johanna was on that one too. They had some excellent panelists on that from the Highlands Council, the New Jersey Infrastructure Bank, Sustainable Jersey, and our own resident, Christy McDonald from Raritan Headwaters. And it was so, because what they were highlighting was our rain garden program, which was just, really a great thing to see us taking the lead on things like that. There were also some interesting funding opportunities that they talked about for grants for future infrastructure, green infrastructure. I was a judge along with Meg McDowell at the car show at Galloway and Crane, and they raised $5,000 for Heartworks. We had a meeting of the Mayor's Wellness Campaign, and we're partnering with Community in Crisis and our Recreation Department. Looking this month, it's Mental Health Awareness Month, so Community in Crisis is offering a pretty intense mental health awareness training that we're going to try and offer before the end of the month. I attended the Somerset County Planning Partners meeting, and they have completed what they're calling the preservation plan, which includes the open space plan and the historic and farmland preservation plans. And it's the first time they've done a unified plan, putting them all into one. It is 4 volumes and 600+ pages. It will be available for public review sometime in the middle of summer. And then they will be having public hearings on it. They also incorporated the walk, bike, hike program as well. I attended the first in-person Somerset County Governing Officials Association that we've had in a year and a half. The speaker was Paul Penna, who is the legislative analyst for the League of Municipalities. And he reviewed the rescue funds and how they get used. And it's, fairly easy, but also very complicated. Jeff Hammond and I were both at the Community in Crisis Leadership Forum on the 10th, which was kind of a brainstorming session on addiction and mental health issues. They have done a survey, a community survey that they'll be putting out the results fairly soon, but it was kind of shocking to see. It was like a 30-some% increase in opioid overdoses since the pandemic, or drug overdoses. So they're really trying to tackle that. I attended the Somerset County Stigma Free Committee meeting, and they are looking to host a conference sometime in the fall. The county now is doing their meetings twice a month, and they will be piloting a mental health program for the police in Bridgewater, which I think is based on a model, I think, in South Jersey, where one of the officers is a what do they call them? Community health person who intercedes sometimes in issues that are, for domestic violence or drug use, to have some mental health training. The earmarked projects, I think I had told you before that we were one of 10 that Congressman Malinowski put forward. That was our Boylan Road walkway, but the county then narrowed it down to 3, and we were not in the 3. It was Somerville, Raritan, and Branchburg. The county will be having a Juneteenth celebration on June 17th on the courthouse green from 6 to 7 p.m. It looks like a really great program, so if you're available, it would be worth taking a ride to Somerville. I think that was it from the county. I think that's it. All right. I am done.
Mayor, all the stuff you do in any given month never ceases to amaze me. I mean, I don't know how anybody with a full-time job or even a part-time job could ever keep up. So thank you.
Thanks. Well, it's the beauty of being retired.
Well, you're certainly not retired.
No. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. I believe you're up next, Tom.
You're mute, Tom.
Thank you. Sorry about that. I'll be quick. Just getting back to the org chart, I just wanted to point out that Chris D'Amato took the mess that I gave him and made it quite attractive. And the one thing we've been talking about is possibly linking this. If we could do a hover button, that would be best. But at a minimum, linking your names to your bios. So I don't know, and maybe a photo. So I'm not sure when was the last time we looked at that, but maybe start giving some thought to what you might want us to link to. And I'll get back to you individually on that. I wanted to mention that we now have both Quimby Lane redevelopers conceptual submissions. They were received mid last week. Believe Mayor is working to pull together a redevelopment committee meeting where we can start talking about next steps. So we're excited about that.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Can we get the advanced one up on the website? I don't know if it's there yet, along with the other one, just so the public sees both concept plans.
Yes, absolutely.
Didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, thank you. You said we should have done that with the originals, so we will continue. I want to acknowledge the recreation team and all the work that they have done in the spring and the summer. Really capped off with the success of the pool season so far. At our next meeting, I'll provide some financials in my report, but just to give you a taste, our memberships for this year, and it's not closed, are now at 1,432. So, 1,400 memberships. Last year, we just barely broke 1,000. And the year before that, we were at 1,393. So they've done a great job pushing the pool, and revenue will not just be from memberships. It will be from other activities that are being planned there. And I look forward to sharing those numbers with you when we next meet and things will have finalized a little bit. I think you're all aware of the booster station project at Oak Ridge. So just wanted to let you know that the tree removal that was necessary to get that going has been completed. The police department has been working closely with school officials to improve the traffic flow situation there. Really, I think there's always been a traffic flow issue, but it was exacerbated by the COVID-inspired scheduling. And it really created some potentially hazardous situations. The whole team was up there, including the chief, making sure that it's safe. And I think as a consequence, some permanent improvements have been identified. So Thanks to the chief, his team, and school officials for working together. We are transitioning our drug education program from DARE to LEAD. That is a very popular trend, and I have seen the benefits of that in my previous community, so we look forward to that taking hold. And then lastly, Chief and his team have been working on restarting the Coffee with the Cop program somewhere in the town center area for this summer. And I can't wait to participate in that with them. And that will do it for my report.
Thank you. Yeah, I think they were talking about doing one at the Community in Crisis building too.
Yes.
Which would be great because they did a beautiful job with that building and they want it to be more of a community center. So that was a great idea.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the transition from DARE to the other program? I'm not familiar with that.
Sure. I see Chief is on the line. Are you able to jump in on a conversation, Kev?
Sure, Dr. Hammond. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So as you know, the DARE program has been our go-to drug prevention education program that we've used in our schools for at least 20 years, for more than 20 years now. The program has morphed into something a little different than it used to be. The program support that used to be there really isn't there for us in our area on the East Coast. They're a lot less involved with local law enforcement. There's a lot less program support for the program. And it's just kind of turned into something that's not as effective, we believe, as the new LEAD program. So LEAD, Law Enforcement Against Drugs, I think is about 4 or 5 years old now. It's a lot of the old people that were involved with DARE New Jersey and the DARE program in the state got together with some educators and developed a new curriculum that is a little bit more flexible. I believe it gives us some more flexibility to, take certain components of the program and plug them into things and needs that are customized to our community. It's very similar to the DARE program in a lot of ways. The only real big difference I think that's going to be noticeable is going to be the T-shirts and all the marketing that goes along with the program is the most obvious change, but it's the same basic premise. The officers are going to be specially trained. They're going to go into the schools. We have 3 officers now that are trained. We have a training conference coming up later this month that I'll be attending with 2 of our trained officers to try to get a grasp on, what the program really has to offer so we can make the best use of it.
Great, thank you. What is, I guess the name of it? What is the name?
LEAD, Law Enforcement Against Drugs.
Got it, okay.
And the school is on board. I've talked to Dr. Dempsey about it. They're aware of it. And we'll be working on, programming and curriculum for next year, trying to get us into the classrooms a little bit more than we have. Obviously, this last year was a total bust.
Yeah, I know. Okay, thank you.
I just wanted to add to a big thanks to Tom because these administrators' reports are super helpful and we did not have them prior to you being here. So it's really great to hear everything that's going on and getting that extra insight into what's happening at the borough.
Oh, good. Thank you for saying that. I'll keep them coming then.
Yep. Next, Christine, you had looked at having a mobile DMV, their vehicle, come to town.
Yep, on page 86 of your packets is where the material or the background material is. But to summarize, back in January of 2020, it was January 14th meeting, we approved this to be an item for the library to apply for. So it's a 1-page application that you send to the DMV, and then you can have a mobile unit come to your community, which is a great service. So we all know what happened right after that is that nothing was really happening in the community because of COVID. So the DMV reached back out to me to ask if we're still interested and to let us know that they definitely would be able to accommodate over the summer, July, August, and September, which I'm thinking if we try at least for one of the summer dates, that maybe we would be able to accommodate too, because I think there are many parents of teens who have driver licenses and permits that need to be done and do not want to have to schlep all the way to a DMV and wait in very long lines. So I think it would be a great idea for us, and that we could do it at the library, or we could also do it at the train station perhaps, or at the Ammerman lot. They just need certain things that are all detailed on the application form.
They do need access to a bathroom, so the library
Right.
might be the better location.
I want
Mhm.
to strongly support this idea because actually you can't even go to a DMV anymore.
Right.
Out just recently myself that you have to go online, schedule an appointment, and while some appointments are available, appointment for licensing, for example, which might affect our 17-year-olds, are zero available in the entire state of New Jersey, and they are opening them up incrementally. But it seems to me, from what I can ascertain from the website, you even if you were able to get an appointment, which you cannot, you have to wait till after August sometime at this point. So they're like 6 or 8 or 10 weeks out. Even if you could get an appointment, which you can't for some things. Some other things they have more appointments for, which seems strange, but
Yeah, my husband just had to drive to Washington in order to go to the DMV.
it's
And
absolutely.
It was a 2-week out appointment, so yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'll second or triple that because not only have they made it by appointment, but they've cut back on the number of DMV offices. So it's really hard.
Yeah.
So we would pick a day and give them 3 choices, actually. And it's Monday to Saturday, 10 to 2 that they would come, and it's available now. Well, it started March, but it's available till November. So as long as we sponsor it and fill out this form and send it in to them, that's the process.
So when you say Monday to Saturday, they'd be here 5 days in a row. Is that what you
No,
said?
Okay.
they only give you 1 day.
1 day. Okay.
You-
And 1 day,
um,
1 month, or is it 1 day 3 months?
According to what I received, they can accommodate 3 days between now and September. So I think we should hurry up and fill it out,
I
the
agree
form.
100%. So who's doing that? One of us or?
Well, if you wanted to be at the library, we probably need to check their schedule to make sure it's not a date that conflicts with something else they've got going on there. So
Right, and
check with them first.
I mean, it could also be at the town hall, but I just don't know how much room we have there.
Yeah, parking is always an issue there.
So, or maybe even the high school would let us use their parking lot, because the target audience, I would say, is going to be high school kids and maybe some people that need their cars registered or whatever.
But I don't know if they'll open up their bathrooms. We had to fight with them to get the camp to use their bathrooms, so.
Well, it doesn't have to be a bathroom.
Yeah, I mean,
No, they need bathrooms. It says they have to have a bathroom.
Well, it says if it's available, yes or no. And if we have a porta potty, I think that counts. But I mean, it's
I think
not the best,
I think we
but
should
it's
make it
something.
easy for them to pick us. So we.
Yeah. How about the
everybody's not
pool?
desirable.
Can we do the pool parking lot?
oh, the pool maybe. But then you'd have to consider you're gonna have people at the pool.
Yeah, but if
I think
it's,
the library has a date for us or 3 dates that we can pick. Then let's just do the library.
Yeah,
it's more
I
accessible
agree.
too for people walking and things.
yep, yeah.
So again, who's going to do it? Is it one of us, the council members? Who does this?
Filling out the form, you mean, Tom?
Filling out the form and checking with the library.
I would think it should be a borough employee, no?
Yeah, we will handle it. We'll jump on it tomorrow.
Okay, great. I just, it's a huge service to the community if we could get it. That's why I'm interested in it.
And I guess we can leave up to your discretion, Tom, as far as if you want it during a weekday or Saturday. I just think a lot of people are working from home or off. So I think any day we can get would be useful. So
Yeah. What hours were they again? 10 to what?
10 to 2.
That's pretty limited in the middle of the day. And I know that people are working from home, but they're being called back to their offices in some cases. So
It's
we'll
only
take
a
what
few
we can get
minutes.
from the library, but Saturdays might be better.
Yeah, I wonder if we put a poll on the borough Facebook page or something.
The benefit of doing it on a Saturday is the employees, the municipal employees that work in construction and construction traffic won't be there.
That would be good because then we could use that section of the parking lot for the mobile DMV.
Yeah.
I think if we can do Saturdays, we should. If we can't, we just take what we can get because it's better than nothing. Is there a way to sort of advertise it or promote it within Bernardsville first? I'm sure surrounding communities will be interested as well, but there's no reason, we shouldn't try and get as many Bernardsville residents through the process if we can,
Yeah, we recently purchased some, and opened an account for push notifications on Facebook, so we'll be able to get that in front of everyone a couple times.
So we should clarify, Tom, with the DMV when we're submitting the paperwork, if there's a reservation system that will go along with this, because obviously if it's first come, first serve, I suppose, people from 3 and 4 towns away could easily come and get in line, I would guess, which is fine, but I would like to help our people, our townsfolk if we can.
Well, we'll geofence, it's called geofencing.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Notification.
Yeah. And they also want to know how you're going to publicize it. So, you have to kind of give them a little description of how you're going to let people know about it.
Yeah, it'd be good to put in the paper and on the website and then Facebook and maybe even there's that Somerset Hills district folder. It's like an email thing that people sign up for.
To the schools, or the Friday folder at school?
Yeah, that's the school one. I mean, we could ask if we put it in there, but there's also a Somerset Hills district one. I forget who runs it. But.
Friday folder go out in the summer?
Oh, duh, probably not.
It does.
I
Really?
don't remember.
Oh. I don't know. Good question. Okay, well, we'll leave that in your capable hands, Tom.
Jokes.
Okay. Next, we have a request for a hardship exemption for a street opening moratorium on 59 Hull Road. There's a letter in your packet.
Well, my understanding was we set up a process, which as long as they comply with the process, we don't really have to vote on it, right?
But
No,
they're
that's-
asking us to waive the fee.
There's a $2,500 fee at in the beginning of the moratorium like this.
Yeah, I had a question about that, and I understand from Mr. McDowell's letter that he was recommending this, but I wasn't sure that I fully understood this. The hardship, approving the hardship exemption for them to open the street makes sense, but why are we waiving the fee?
I think they're misunderstanding the use of the word hardship. Because the
Well,
hardship
well,
is not about their
But
financial.
they can't get an exemption without having a hardship. So
Yeah.
Dr. Hammond is correct. You don't even reach the non-refundable exemption fee unless you qualify as a hardship. So
Yeah, I mean,
everyone, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry, Jack. Go ahead. Finish your.
I was just going to say, so everyone who gets the exemption is going to have a hardship.
Right, this is saying it doesn't mean a financial hardship, it's right? What they're
That's
referring
right.
to is the timing hardship.
Correct.
But the project isn't something that they just decided to do. It's something they were forced into.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I think the other thing is that they're saying is that they were informed that it wasn't, that their gas line was not in the road and it was in the grass. And then they realized it's not in the grass, it's in the road.
Right.
And that was something from PSE&G that they had supplied it. And then I guess there was some, I didn't really understand it either, but something about the way that they had delineated the lines of the property and that we ended up extending the road a little bit.
We've never extended the road. I think rights of way in general extend beyond the pavement, if that's what they were referring to. But we have not widened that road to my knowledge.
We didn't,
Or widen it
okay.
right away.
Okay, I thought that that's what the email from John McDowell had said.
Let me look at it
Sorry.
again.
Yeah,
It basically says that, I mean, if you read what on page 92 of the packet where it talks about the resident's description, you know, of how they got into the situation, is that it's a little bit vague, but it says during the home buying process, we were assured the gas connection was on the grass and not under the road. So I don't know who.
Yeah. And John
that's
doesn't
not
say the
real clear.
right of way was widened. He says the pavement was widened a little, modestly widened as part of the recent road improvements project.
I'm a little bit confused by the math because it says that they're to pay a $1,500 street opening escrow, which I don't think we can waive because if they don't close the street properly, we need to do it. So that the bond, which is refundable, I think they're still going to have to pay. And then it says a $2,500 non-refundable road repair exemption fee, which is equal to $500 a year times 3 years. But that's $1,500, not $2,500.
But they just paved the road this year. So that was the
So is it
fee, $2,500. It's not per year.
It's $500 a year times 5 years then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a schedule for the non-refundable exemption fee. There's a schedule for 4 to 5 years before expiration of the moratorium, 3 to 4 years before 2 to 3 years, 1 to 2 years, and less than a year. It
Right.
gradually
Right.
goes down from 2,500.
Right.
to
It's
500.
not per year. It's just the fee that
The
we
flat
put
fee,
in.
Depending
Yeah.
on the time.
well,
So-
no, I think he made a mistake in his, if you look at the email, it does say 500 a year times 3 years.
Yeah, the letter's just confusing. That's all.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
is
so-
within 5 years.
And I'm not sure why we're like, I guess Tom's point, why it's like, they're not asking, is opening the street permissible under the ordinance?
Only in the case of a hardship. But getting back to the 1,500, there are 2 sections. Anytime there's an excavating permit issued, there's a $1,500 cash bond required. And the purpose of that is to make sure the road is restored.
Right.
The road, it's like a performance bond.
Right,
So if the road is restored properly, that would be returned to the property owner. The $2,500 is non-refundable, and it's for the privilege of opening the road during the first year after the repaving.
right.
I'm just concerned about waiving fees and setting precedents for doing that. Then we paint ourselves into a corner for the future. I think I understand their dilemma, and in fact, we passed that ordinance so that we could give permission under certain circumstances for them to reopen a recently paved road, and I'm all in favor of approving that. I have my questions about waiving fees.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Jeff on that one.
Yeah,
And the $2,500 exemption fee is to be deposited in a dedicated account for road repairs. So
right,
it's not just general revenue.
They should go after PSE&G for that because they gave them the bad info.
right.
We should collect it, but they can take, yeah. We gave them the bad info? That was the,
We did not. Yeah, it was PSE&G. That's what I'm
oh,
saying.
yeah, so I mean, yeah, like, it's not, they got to pay it to us, but they can take it up with PSE&G in the back end. It's,
Right.
Yeah,
If we had given them the bad info, then maybe we should have waived. the
yeah, that
fee.
would be a different scenario.
Exactly.
right. But we did not give them the wrong
No.
information, and the 2,500, if they don't pay it, we will have to eat that cost because we still have to repair the road, right?
Well,
But I
they
think
would
back to
still do
Dr.
that.
Hammond's point, if you're gonna start waiving these fees, then the ordinance needs to be changed because
Yeah,
you have to apply it uniformly. And they
Right.
don't qualify for the exemption unless they have hardship.
right.
We're not going to pay for the repair of the road. I don't think, Mayor.
No, that's what
No.
I'm saying. Yeah, if we waive it, though,
No,
They shouldn't waive. No.
even if we were to waive it, the $1,500 is going to have to stay. They're going to have to provide a performance bond and then
Right.
they're gonna repair the road. And if they don't repair it properly, we're going to take their $1,500 and we're going to repair it properly.
That's right.
If they repair it properly, we give them the $1,500 back.
Right.
So we should not be paying for a repair of the road, even if we were to waive this other fee, which they're saying is the $2,500 fee for opening up a brand.
got it. Right,
That's correct.
right.
And that's,
We used to be evaluating on a case-by-case basis, but then we put this ordinance in
Yeah,
this exact scenario.
right. I got it.
Yeah,
And
so,
we just adopted this last year. It's a new ordinance.
Yes.
yeah.
It's fairly new and I think we need to stick with it.
Yeah,
Yep.
but it says in here that PSE&G started the installation for the gas service to the house, but failed to find the gas connection as described on the provided map diagram. Do we know what map diagram it is? Because that's what I'm wondering, if we provided them with something that made them think that it was in the grass and not on the road, or if it was PSE&G. Because if it was us, then I think then we have a little dilemma.
Or
Well,
it might
I
be-
agree with you, Councilwoman McCready. I think if it was off of one of our tax maps, that's one thing. If it was their own survey or something from PSNG, that's another.
Yeah,
It might have been a survey they had done when they bought the property too.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
So that, but we just don't have enough information. So I wouldn't actually want to vote on this right now. I'd want to wait and get, who provided them with this information and the assurance that they
The
say.
only
that-
the only diagram included in our packet is on PSE&G letterhead.
Was it a diagram? Wait a minute.
Well, yeah, sort of. If you look at, it's called
Sideways.
the Brook Street opening permit PSE&G. It's their form. That's the only diagram I see in here.
Yeah,
yeah, that's it. That is.
doesn't give you much.
No, but we didn't prepare it, I
No.
would say, by the looks of it.
It says here opening behind pavement and edge of grass.
Behind edge of pavement in grass, right,
Yeah,
exactly.
but that's the
what I was just
PSE&G
wondering.
form.
Right,
Um,
yeah, so where did they get this info? I don't know.
Does PSE&G
I
get
mean-
that from us or not? They have their own maps.
No, I believe that the process is that they send out their own utility identification crews to find out where everything is, and that's how this type of document gets generated.
Yeah, so then it would be on PSE&G, and then I would say they should get their money back from them.
Yep.
Yeah, if it's clear that it's PSE&G who gave the bad information, then yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but if it's not, then I think that we might,
So how do we determine that?
But I think it depends on the timing that the information, even if the borough gave it to them after the fact, that wouldn't have affected the fact that they needed to excavate the road. See what I'm saying?
Yes,
Unless they relied on information from the borough and then went out and bought their appliances and everything, then it would be a different story.
yeah, so can we just give permission to John to say, I don't know if everybody agrees with this, but if we say, if PSE&G provided the misinformation, then no, we're not waiving the $2,500 fee, but if it was the borough, then we do, or it comes back to us. And let John work it out, so then we don't have to get this back again, or. And when I say John, I mean McDowell, sorry, lots of Johns on this.
does that make sense? Tom, can we do that?
It does to me, if council is comfortable with it.
Works for me.
Yeah, okay. Good.
So just to be clear, that if PSE&G provided all the data, then the answer is that we're not waiving it.
I think I would phrase it another way. I would say, unless the borough provided bad information that led them to the decision they made, then
Right.
it's not our fault.
Okay. In which case, the answer isn't yes, the answer is it comes back to council, or the answer is it's okay, we'll waive it.
No, we're not waiving it. Oh, if it was our fault, you mean?
Yes, okay to waive it or bring it back to council.
Now I'd bring it back. Just to make sure we have all the details.
Will do.
Okay. All right, we don't have any correspondence at the moment. Any unfinished business?
I just wanted to inform everybody, I copied the mayor, and John Donahue on an email to the community relations head at Board of Education, which I didn't know we had.
Oh.
And I found out. And so I'm hoping now that we might end up with some kind of group that we can have and open up the lines of communication with the Board of Education in the borough.
Who is that person? Do you know their name?
Samantha Frenda.
Oh, okay. So it's a board person.
Yes, yes. So, and she's the head of community relations for the Board of Ed. I didn't even know they had such a
I
position.
didn't either. Okay.
So I'll take it.
Yeah.
So I
no,
sent her an email. I copied you, Mayor, so that you were in the know, but let's
Thank
see.
you.
Hopefully Sam can ask for it to be put on the agenda and they can vote on it or whatever. Maybe I'll talk to Sam and see what we can do first, but
Okay.
let's see.
Yeah. Good. Thank you. New business. We did have a request for the school buses to be parked on borough property near the tennis courts the day of graduation. I think it was from like 9 in the morning. What was it?
To 12:45.
On the 17th, yeah, from 9 to 12:45. Is that a problem? I mean, the pool is not open that day, yes?
Correct. And it's a Thursday.
Yeah, the pool's not open until that weekend for full time.
Correct.
So everyone okay with that? Okay, Anthony, you'll take care of that.
Sure, I will.
Okay, thank you. We do have some items for closed session.
If I can just ask Mayor, the item that I have for, I'm pulling off, so I'm not sure if the attorney has anything else.
Yeah, I think John did. Yes, Jack has some.
I don't recall having anything.
There were the leases. There were some leases.
For the,
For some
yeah,
medical.
I know what it was. It'll take 2 minutes. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I know what it is. Thanks. I meant to call Anthony and ask him what it was because I didn't have it in my notes.
Yeah, we had that. They were doing something with the lease. So, but we don't need to come back.
No.
Okay.
So Mayor, I just had a thought back to the request for this hardship exemption.
Mhm.
And I know our goal was to, not have people tearing up these roads right after we pave them. I'm just wondering if there's a happy medium that the borough can strike with homeowners, because I could see where, it's coming up with another $4,000, would be hardship for somebody, What if our ordinance said that they would have to put the money in escrow for the period of time until the road reaches 5 years of age? And that way, if the repair was defective during any time up until 5 years, we'd have the escrow money to repair it. We would be foregoing the $2,500 fee. That's a declining fee as the road gets closer to 5 years of age. I think goes down to $1,500 and then $1,000 or something. So it's not always going to be $2,500. It's because this is a brand new road. But we could change the ordinance to say, they have to keep the escrow money in until the road's 5 years old. That would be a happy medium sort of in between what we're doing now. And does it accomplish what we really want, which is to have nice roads, and perhaps be a little bit more resident friendly.
Maybe something we can take to Public Works and talk
Go back to
there.
Public Works, I agree.
Yeah, and then
amend the ordinance if you want to do that.
I was just thinking, that might be an alternative, because what we really want, and this kind of goes back to our tree ordinance discussion, we really want is compliance. We want nice roads. We don't want people tearing up the roads. So if they fix it nicely, and then we have a guarantee that if any time during the first 5 years it's not a nice road, then we repair it using their bond, their money that they deposited. But that would be, cost a homeowner in this example only $1,500 instead of $4,000.
What was the purpose of the fee, essentially the application fee on top of the escrow? The escrow, I understand.
There was some concern that people were willy-nilly not planning in advance. Then, they knew the road was being paved and they knew they wanted to get a gas furnace, but instead of being proactive and doing that before the road got paved, they just do it whenever it was convenient for them and tear up the road. Just, ask us for a hardship exemption so they could tear up the road. So I think that the purpose of the ordinance when we passed it last year was to try and discourage the process of people just willy-nilly going, I want to switch from electric to gas. Let me tear up the brand new road, you know?
Well, that doesn't seem to be the case in this instance.
Well, no, but we didn't want to do it case by case. These things kept coming up to us every time somebody wanted to open up a brand new road, came back to us. We said, we need just a universal approach that applies to everybody. And so this structure, along with the fees, as well as the bond to do the repair work if it wasn't done properly, was the approach that we came up with, and we passed it.
Okay, so now I better understand why they're asking for the exemption, because they didn't do this, as you say, willy-nilly. They were actually proactive, it looks like, at least, and got some sort of feedback from PSE&G, albeit incorrect.
I don't know. I mean, they could have gotten told by the seller of their home that where the gas thing.
I mean, unless
They could have
they,
been told by a realtor. They could have been told by a realtor. We don't know where they got the information.
Yeah.
To tell them.
My only concern is that any ordinance be uniformly applied, not arbitrarily applied.
Yeah,
No,
and what,
I think, yeah, I understand, but what I'm saying is, you're not supposed to get a hardship exemption if you just did it at your own convenience. You're not even supposed to qualify for the exemption. So Public Works really should discuss it, and as I say, I take no position on the substance, but just, we can't arbitrarily grant exemptions from the fee or not grant, because as I said earlier, you can't get the exemption unless you have a hardship. So everyone who gets the exemption is going to have a hardship, and if they qualify for the exemption as well from the non-refundable exemption fee, then it's meaningless, and we should just repeal it.
If I may offer this as well, had they not been new residents, they would have been given ample warning, and they would have been encouraged to evaluate this stuff early in the planning process. So because they were newer residents, they weren't around for that public information campaign.
But I think this won't be the last time we have to, deal with this, Tom. So I think we all have to be comfortable with, applying the ordinance as it's written, or if we as council members feel that, we should do it somehow differently. I think there's a scope to amend the ordinance that still protects the borough's interests, while perhaps being more friendly to the residents.
well, I think it is friendly. I mean, I think it's applicable, I think, but if it's PSE&G's information or operating, then PSE&G should be paying the fee for them or deducting the bill.
And it's also an option, they didn't have to go to gas. They had an oil furnace. So it was their decision, their choice to switch.
Absolutely. Yeah. I understand all those things. Yeah. I just thinking of it in light of, is there something that protects our interest and helps the residents at the same time? That's just why I brought it up. And I wanted to bring it up in public forum so that everybody could hear it at the same time.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you, Tom. I think it's worth looking into, that maybe we went too far. Maybe there's a happy medium somewhere. So let's ask Public Works to just take another look at it.
Yes, and we're going to gather additional information, Tom, I think, from this family as well, right?
Yeah.
Because I guarantee everyone who applies for the hardship is going to ask for a waiver of the fee.
Right.
Yeah, we're just putting us back in the same situation we were trying to get away from.
Yeah. All right, good. Thank you. So do I have a motion for closed session?
I'll move to go to closed session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we will not be coming back. So thank you, those of you who were here.